Cue captivating hook, time. Something we all have, something that we're all running out of, and something that we want to use wisely. Welcome to the live stream. I'm Thommo, and tonight we're going to be talking about why it can be okay to trade your time for money, but why you really want to avoid selling your time for money, especially in the context of wealth building. And we're going to use examples like tradies, like doctors and accountants. That's what we're going to be discussing tonight in the live stream. Now, whatever we do, whatever everyone does in the context of wealth building, we are trading our time for money. If you are spending your time to buy stocks, if you're spending your time to set up a business, if you're actually performing duties in that business, you're effectively trading your time for money. That's what we're all doing. Now, in the examples of a tradesperson, say you're a tradesperson and you set up a business. You set up a business and you go out and you start performing services. You start booking clients, you start doing those jobs. I call that working in the business. You're going out there, you're performing a job, and you're invoicing for the time that you have spent performing that job. That's working in the business. Now, you might even be a really, really good tradie. You might get really, really good at this. You might be able to charge a little bit more for your time compared to a competitor. That's really good. That's really good for wealth building. But what is very, very unlikely is that you'll be able to charge, for example, double what your competitors are charging, no matter how good you get. You'll get capped out at a certain point. Let's use the example of doctors. Say you're a doctor, you're a new doctor, you're starting to learn the trade. You go into a doctor's practice and you start having patients and performing services for those patients. And you invoice them for the time that you spend with them. You're working in the business. You might learn a little bit, you might be able to charge a little, might become a specialist, might be able to charge more than other people for your time, but you are invoicing them, you are selling your time in that business. Now, if you think about, for example, and as I'm going through these examples, I want you to think about how these principles could maybe apply to your job, because they're very, very broad principles. So if you think about really wealthy doctors or really wealthy tradespeople, normally, so let's use the example of doctors, they are the people that perhaps own the doctor's practice, or perhaps own the clinic. What they do is they, instead of selling their time to patients, they still may be doing that, they buy a practice or they lease a practice out, and they have other doctors in to come and sell their time. And they charge them rent for performing those services. They might even perform billing and other sort of services for those doctors. They have swapped, changing their time from selling their time to individual patients, working in the business, to working on the business, and trading their time for multiple income streams. Again, in the example of tradespeople, sometimes you might see one lone tradie. They're normally not the wealthiest. As they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you get those really big home ownership and home building companies, the people that own those businesses, they have employed other people to work in those businesses, selling their time. They have traded their time from selling their time on individual invoices to working on the business and trading their time for money. That's really, really key. Now, one example that I haven't gone through is accountants, employees. Now, if you're an employee, don't get me wrong, you are definitely selling your time. If you're working 9 to 5 in a job, you are selling your time to your employer. And the key to growing wealth is trading your time. Because if you're selling your time, you're always going to get capped out at a certain point. You can only invoice so much, and there's only so many hours in the day that you can work. You're going to get capped out if you're selling your time. So if you're an employee like me, an accountant, selling their time to their employer 9 to 5, how can you get out of that, and how can you build wealth? What you need to do is think about building passive income streams. So what I do, I sell my time to my employer, and then I use that money to buy stocks. I invest in the stock market. And I'll leave some links below on some videos where I can teach you how to invest. It's very, very simple. But what I do is take my sold time from my employer and invest that into assets. Those assets will increase in value. Those assets will pay me passive income streams. That's how I'm attempting to go from selling my time to my employer to trading my time to build investments. So the key here to building wealth is you want to get out of selling your time. You're going to get capped out doing that, to trading your time for building future and more income streams. That's really, really the key to building wealth. Now, it might be a bit of a nuance between selling your time and trading your time, but I'm using that as an example to show you between the two. Now, I want to show you a video, pretty powerful video.
Poor people and middle-class people feel like everything is expensive because they pay for things with money they've exchanged their time for. So they feel like they're paying for everything with their life because they are. So let's say I've got some money. We're going to call this some money. I got some money.
Okay.
And I want to buy this car. And I've got some time. So what I do is I take some of my time and I trade my time to somebody for some money, and they give me the money. But when I get the money, I don't have the time anymore because the time's gone and I can't get it back. It's gone forever. So then I see this car and I'm like, I got this money that I've changed my time for, and I'm going to take this money that I've changed my time for, I'm going to trade that in for this car. So now I don't have the time and I don't have the money anymore, but now I have the car.
It's a pretty heavy video. I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to see the full video to that. If you want to build wealth, you need to find a way. If you're a business owner, you need to try and find a way of working in the business and selling your time to working on the business, working on customer acquisition, working on marketing, working on employing other people who can sell their time. And if you're an employee, selling your time to your employer, you need to find a way to build passive income streams to be able to build wealth. Now, if you don't know how to invest, I was just like you. Investing is very, very easy to do nowadays. And I'll leave some links to some videos in the description that will teach you, give you a step-by-step guide on how you can invest, how you can build wealth. That was the finance topic of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. If it did give you some value, hit that like. It really helps push my video out to other viewers. And really hope I gave you something to think about tonight. Thanks for stopping in. See you in the next video.